beautiful people, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my back to school series. I'm Natalie, and if this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do subscribe to my channel and make sure to watch the rest of the videos in this series and the other videos on my channel. And if this isn't your first time stopping by, thank you so much for coming back. Those of you that have been watching every single video in the back to school series, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I ran a poll on my Instagram account a week ago and I asked people if they generally felt motivated throughout the term or if they found it hard to always stay motivated. More than 90% of my followers said that they found it hard to stay motivated. And so yeah, in this video I will be sharing with you guys tips and tricks and stuff you can do to keep yourself motivated, because I know as a medical student, as a student in general, it's not always easy to sit down and actually feel like studying, and it's very rare actually to actually feel like studying. But there are things you can do to make yourself feel less like not studying, and some things that you can do to actually push yourself to work even when you don't want to. So generally speaking, there's two styles of motivation, and the one is the sensible method and the second one is the guilt tripping method. So the first tip is, at the beginning of your semester and at the beginning of the academic year, before anything even goes on, you should write down all your goals and everything you'd like to achieve for that semester, and write it down somewhere where you can always see it, or somewhere where you can always look back to it, whether it's on your laptop as a sticky note or an actual sticky note on your wall or in a journal, any kind of like written form that's suitable for you. And then at the end of every week, go back to that goal that you wrote and check how far you've come in terms of achieving it. Check your actions and your behavior patterns. Have you been doing things that go in line with you actually achieving that goal, or have you kind of just been slacking away and not doing anything really? If you're on track, seeing that goal that you've written down and seeing that you're closer to getting it will push you to even work even harder to actually achieve the goal. And if you're slacking away, it'll push you to actually get started and get on track. Then the second tip is to study at a desk or study at a place that actually invites you to study. If you're a person who likes to study in bed, make sure you're comfortable, make sure your little setup on your bed is actually inviting to study. If you're a person who likes to sit on the floor, put all your favorite things on the floor so that you can sit there and actually be motivated to study there. If you're a person who likes to study at a desk, make sure that your study environment and your study space and your desk and your room in general is actually neat and tidy and just inviting, so that you can actually feel like sitting there and doing some work. You can watch this video linked to the top of the screen to see how I achieved a desk environment and setup that suits me and that's perfect for me and that's motivating me to study. If you can't study at your room or you're feeling tired and worn out, you can always get a change of environment. You can go to the library, you can go to a cafe, you can go and sit in a park and study. If you're on a campus that's big like mine, there's so many little parks and rivers and things on my campus that you can go and sit at and study there. You can use those to your advantage and use them to study. The third tip you can try is to go somewhere with nothing but your study material. So get onto a bus or get in a cab and go somewhere with only your laptop and your book and a pen and paper, and you'll be forced to get there and do nothing but study. Fourth tip is to set attainable goals, like set small goals in order to achieve your big goal. It's one thing to say that I want to get 87 as my lowest mark. You can break it down to say, okay, every 2 weeks I want to try and score a 20 on this mock test that I'll give myself, or I want to read 5 chapters a month, or like small goals that will help you actually end up achieving your big goal. And it will be easier to work on the small goal than working on one big goal. So the small ones are more attainable, and it motivates as you achieve each of the small goals. It will help you actually be more focused and more driven to end up achieving the bigger goal. The next tip is to actually stop and look back at how far you've come. So look at all your marks from first year to now and see, are they going up, are they going down, are they staying the same? And that should kind of push you to say, okay, if they're going up, I must keep doing what I'm doing. If they're going down, I need to do something about it. And if they're staying the same, what can you do to change them up so that you can get a better mark? And that really helps. Looking at what you've done really helps determine what you're going to do next. Then the next tip is, do not compare yourself to others. In my class in particular, there are people that are always studying. There are people that always seem to know everything that's going on. Do not compare yourself to people like that. Study at your own pace. Do your own things at a time. If you have a study group, that's okay. You can kind of use those people as a kind of guideline on where you should be, but don't ever compare yourself to others to say, okay, that one is studying, I'm not doing anything, or that one seems to know everything, I don't know anything, because that will only end up demoralizing you instead of actually motivating you. And so yeah, other people might study 24 hours a day and end up with a 55%. You might study for 3 weeks only and end up with the 70. So don't compare yourself to other people, because people are different and people have different ways of doing things. The main thing is to make sure that you study smart. So studying all the time doesn't ensure that you get a good mark, but studying smart and studying well actually ensures you end up with a good mark. So you might study 3 times a week, but those 3 times that you're studying, are they effective? Are they good study sessions, rather than just doing rubbish throughout the whole week and just sitting at the desk, not really doing anything in particular, all in the name of just as long as I'm studying. So yeah, don't compare yourself to others. Find something that works for you. Do your thing, and at the end of the day, you should only work to compete with the person that you were before. So make sure the only person whose marks you should be getting better than is your marks that you got before. Like I already said, you should aim to study smarter and not harder. And what this means is, it's one thing to just sit and read everything in the book, but are you actually focusing on the points that are important? At the beginning of every semester, get the curriculum and the course outline for that course that you're doing, and then look at the syllabus and see the things that are important. The teachers will always stress the most important parts, and if you hear those parts and then go and sit down and do nothing about it, you really are playing yourself. When the teachers tell you the important parts, it means that they will probably come in the exam, or there are key points in that subject. So you should spend obviously more time and more effort on those parts. And I always try to study the most important things first, so that if I do end up getting worn out, I know that at least I've already done the hardest bits, the most important bits, and now I just kind of have to read over other things. And so the next tip is to find other study methods. Like if you're always reading, try watching a lecture for a change. If you've never written notes before, try writing notes and see how it goes for you. As long as you try different things and find what works for you and try new things, you always end up motivating yourself, because sometimes even writing notes can be a challenge. So you can end up watching a lecture instead, just so that you end up getting some work done rather than ending up sleeping throughout the entire semester. The next tip is to give yourself credit where you've actually tried hard. When you've done a good job, acknowledge that you've done a good job and actually treat yourself, buy yourself something nice. And yeah, just every time you feel like, okay, I've actually achieved one of my smaller goals, go ahead and treat yourself, and that will push you to even do more and set more goals and achieve those goals. And the last tip on the sensible method category is to do your assignments as soon as you get them. Like if you get an assignment today, start it tonight. What this does is you'll finish it early, and by the time other people are complaining about it, you're already done. So that gives you a feeling of, oh, I'm on top of things, and then you have that feeling of, I have extra time. In reality, you actually don't have extra time. You just did it early, and now you can spend the rest of your time studying. And then the next method is the guilt tripping method. Everything else has failed. The first thing I suggest you do is to buy books. Use the money that you would normally spend on bags and clothes and all that. Use it to buy books. And when you don't read those books, you'll see them and feel like, oh, I wasted my money, I should have bought a bag, but I ended up buying books. And that will motivate you to actually open those books and read them. And the next thing you can do in the guilt tripping method is to text your parents or whoever is in charge of paying your school fees and ask them how they would feel if you came home without the degree that you came here for. If you have parents like mine, that should send you right to your desk to study, and you will be more motivated than ever. The last tip is to count the number of days until your exams. Subtract the hours of sleep, subtract the hours that you're in class, subtract the hours that you spend watching movies and calculate how many hours are left, and that'll be the hours left until you have an exam. If that number doesn't motivate you to study, then I really don't know what will. So guys, these are the tips and tricks and methods that I use to keep myself motivated throughout school. I know very well that it's not always easy to sit up and study. I myself have had weeks where I just spend my time, go to class, come back and sleep and repeat for the next couple of days, and a month even passes. So yeah, these are just the tips and tricks that I use to keep myself motivated and to reboot myself when I'm feeling low in spirit. And so yeah, I really hope that at least one of these methods will work for you and that you will be motivated to start your semester on a motivated note. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment below and let me know what you do when you're not motivated to study and when you don't feel like doing anything and nothing is working. I'd love to know. I always love hearing new ideas on how to stay motivated. And yeah, if you reached this part of the video, please do subscribe to my channel. After this, you can go ahead and watch the other videos that I posted in the back to school series and the other videos on my channel already. Thank you so much if you've been keeping up with all the videos in this back to school series. I really do appreciate it. It wasn't easy for me to film all of these and upload every day, but it makes it worthwhile when I know that people are watching and people are interacting with me and people are being helped from it. So I really do appreciate you guys, and thank you so much. I will see you in my next video. Bye.